que tú me quieras a mí. Soy el que sufre el dolor de un juramento. Hasta la muerte juré quererte siempre. Soy el que sufre sin fe porque me falta tu amor. Llévate todo mi ser, te pertenece. Llévate mi alma si quieres, te pertenece. Llévate todo mi ser, que tuyo es. Has de saber algún día lo que he sufrido. Entonces pueda ser que tú me quieras a mí. Soy el que sufre el dolor de un juramento. Hasta la muerte juré quererte siempre.
We're a community organization. We're also a nonprofit. Most of our decisions come from community members. I always like to give the tour of the murals because murals are one of the perfect examples of history. They keep history alive. They talk about different things. In this mural, you'll be able to see the eagle, which is one of the main things. The eagle is black. The reason why it's black, it's because it's talking about the dark times that's going on, but it's always looking forward. In our movement, it's always been, we've always tried to make it as inclusive as possible. So in the murals, you'll try to see as much inclusivity as much. You'll see men, women, children. You'll see people who are with disabilities. And in the middle, at the bottom, you'll be able to see the fields. The fields is where it started. So we're a branch of the United Farm Workers. The United Farm Workers was made around 1960s or so, when they were trying to get the wage gone from $1 to $1.25 in the fields. Also, they were trying to ban the short-handed hoe. So if you put your hand like this and then go like this is what the hoe looked like. It was very small. So picture having to be with this short-handed hoe, trying to get to the crops. It's very difficult. You would have to be bending over for hours and hours. This is where children would work in the fields. Mothers, fathers, babies who were being cared by their mothers, and so on. Our three pillars are organize, educate, and participate. We don't do for the people what the people can do for themselves. We're not a charity organization. We provide the tools to communities here in the Rio Grande Valley so that they can succeed, so they can become leaders, so that they can overcome their own obstacles, but they use us as a guide and also to provide the tools for them. We organize in different ways. One is in communities. The communities we organize are usually low income, low resource, immigrant, mixed status, colonias in the outskirts of the cities. That's where we provide most of our resources and most of our help. Educate. We help educate people across the valley on various issues, whether it's immigration, education, health, services, what's going on with the laws, so on. This is one of the ways we educate our folks and also participate. We always encourage people to participate. I'm going to hold that third one whenever we go to the inside mural. Anybody want to read the quote? On the top. And then on the left of it too.
Okay. podemos vencernos, estamos venciendo porque la nuestra es una revolución de la mente y el corazón. César Chávez.
Would you be able to translate? You can try, as good as you can.
We cannot go backwards. We will conquer. We are conquering because this is a revolution of the mind and heart, and of the heart.
So ours is the revolution of the mind and the heart. One of the things we always tell our folks is that no matter what happens, nobody can take away your education. Nobody can take away from you being fearless. That power that we give you, nobody can take it away. So we're always winning. And then you'll be able to see the flags in the middle. You'll be able to see the LUPE flags and also the UFW flags come together because it's one of the things that it's our history but also our future. In the middle of the US flag. This was done 11 years ago, September 2007. So it's we'll go inside now.
Thank you.
One more movement was going on. And I'm going to translate it to you. This one, we start every single one of our events with this quote. Whether it's a house meeting that we hold at one of our leaders' house, whether it's our education event that we held yesterday, our general meeting that's next Friday, every single event we start with this because of the meaning it has. So, enséñame el sufrimiento de los más desafortunados. Show me the suffering of the less fortunate. Así conoceré el dolor de mi pueblo. I will know my people's plight. Líbrame a orar por los demás. Help me pray for others. Porque estás presente en cada persona. Because you are present in every person. Ayúdame a tomar responsabilidad de mi propia vida. Help me take responsibility of my own life. Solo así seré libre al fin. Only then I'll be free at last. Concédeme valentía para servir al prójimo. Give me strength so that I could serve my brother. Porque en la entrega hay vida verdadera. Because in service there is true life. Concédeme honradez y paciencia. Give me patience.
Honesty and patience.
Give me honesty and patience. Para que yo pueda trabajar junto con otros trabajadores. So that I can work with other workers. Alúmbranos con el canto y la celebración.
Bring forth song and celebration.
Que el espíritu florezca y crezca.
So that the spirit will be alive among us.
Para que no nos cansemos entre la lucha.
Let the spirit flourish and grow. So we will never tire of the struggle.
Nos acordamos de los que han caído por la justicia.
Let us remember those who have died for justice.
Porque a nosotros han entregado la vida.
For they have given us life.
Ayúdanos a amar aún a los que nos odian.
Help us love even those who hate us.
Así podremos cambiar el mundo.
So we can change the world.
Amen.
Amen.
So this was a prayer done by Cesar Chavez, created by Cesar Chavez. And it was done in the 60s, 70s to give people the strength so that people, we know religion has been a great part, especially in movements. In the United Farm Workers, it played a large movement because it's one of the things that gave people strength. It's also one of the things that kept people together. And this is why they did it. Right now, if you don't have anything in your hands, we're gonna do a quick thing they used to do. So in the 60s, in the 70s, it was the Filipino Americans, the Mexican Americans, and it was really hard. Imagine getting all the people working in the field together to say, you know, let's start together, let's start something, you know. So they would start with the aplauso organizado, the organized clap. So they would start real slow, and then they would build up. So it was. Now let's head inside. So the other part of
This is the beginning, like for example, when the community comes in to ask for different services. This is the first stop, and then what they do here is that they sign up they sign up into what kind of case they have. A lot of them are immigration. A lot of them are immigration cases. We have an attorney that works with the people on the immigration cases. We also have social service providers that review their cases. But this being a membership organization, the people that come here fill out an application to become members, and they pay $40 a year to be members. When you're a student, it's $20. When it's a couple, it's $60. It's a membership-based organization because when you're up against the state of Texas or you're up against the Trump administration, it takes the power of the community, and the strong membership and the large numbers are the ones that give us the power to fight back and resist the discrimination or the racism. So we can go, these are some of the services that are offered, these are some of the benefits when you become a member. It's all in Spanish, but this is what you receive as part of the $40 that you pay for your membership. Okay, and then you can walk through. These are the cameras where they take the. No tienes una que ya tenga foto. This is what people receive once they become a member, and they here it's got the name and the. A lot of the folks that don't have documents, this is a form of identification too for them, because obviously if you don't have documents and if you don't have identification and you're stopped by the police, you can be turned over to immigration. But if you can identify yourself and your address, the chances are much better that you won't be turned over to immigration officials. Gracias. And so that's the card. Here's the pásele. I don't know how much time you have, so I have all day. This will be really quick. Esther, is Esther there? Do I have a call this morning? So here is another law that we were excluded from as farm workers was when we worked in the fields and we were injured, we didn't have any type of assistance. And so what we did is we fought really hard to have workers' compensation, again, based on the discrimination that we faced as farm workers, and the organizing and the political forces, how we were able to get. This is Mark White, the governor. It's probably before you all were born, you're so young, but he was governor here in Texas, and he came here. This is at the shrine. He came here to sign the bill. And this is my son. Oh, he's the one that lives in San Antonio. He's now married with 3 kids, so you can tell how long ago that was. And these are the delegates. These are the colonias where we organized. I was an organizer at that time, so all of these are colonias that we used to organize. And these are the people that attended the convention when Cesar Chavez came. My dad was a delegate. This is my dad. He passed away, but he was one of the delegates. These are all the people that we used to bring to our Friday night meetings or to the conventions. We had, look at this one here, how many people, and this through, we had some organizers, I think it was 3 or 4 of us that were out organizing, and we used to name all of the different colonias and the representation. But this is how we got the workers' comp, and this is for all workers in the state of Texas, so everybody's now covered. This is the article where we announced that, and also the year. This is Cesar. When he visited here many times, he's also here in the bank. These are when we had trips to Austin to deal with the bill. Actually, this one here is with the governor at his office in Austin. We took a group of farm workers, and this is at the governor's office where we did this. And this is just like visits to Austin to pass legislation. Here is the infamous short-handle hoe. This is the workers using the hoe here in the valley. This is the clipping of the harvest of onion. We used to do this a lot here in South Texas. This is like a very labor intensive, but it's only like a 6 to 8 week crop. So we had to like really work at this one and take advantage of the work that we had. in that very short season. Here is all of the different politicians that supported the union. These are all commissioners. We were very strong politically, and so when we invited all of the county commissioners that were here, this is the county judge. Actually, this is Edgar Ruiz, and this road here used to be called, Pásale, Mari.
Estaba grabando la muchacha.
No pasa nada.
Yeah.
Ya me rodearon.
This is the county judge Edgar Ruiz, and this street here was called Morningside. And of course, we didn't want it to be called Morningside. It didn't have any significance to us. We wanted it to be called Cesar Chavez. So we went to the county judge and the commissioners, and they changed that to Cesar Chavez. This is also one of the parks was named after a sister that works here. These are people from politicians and members, a bunch of members from the union. We named the park after her after she passed away. But it all takes a lot of organizing and a lot of really strong political base to be able to. This is Cesar, is one of the conventions. These are some more of the county commissioners. This is me in one of the visits from Cesar Chavez to the Valley and the bishop. We have 10 acres here that the church donated to the union. It's 10 acres, very valuable. At that time, they weren't worth anything. Now everybody wants to buy them, but we don't sell. And so this is that's us. This is our 20th anniversary. Our members here, we were here from the union, 66 to 86. This is some of those pictures. Here is there was a lot of police brutality here in McAllen. Some of our members or supporters were beaten up by the police, but they failed to recognize that they had tape on their own. They had cameras and they taped it. And so the attorney that was here, Jim Harrington, took this case of police brutality against Mexican Americans and Mexicans, and this is it went national, and this is when they won the lawsuit, and we changed that, and we haven't heard of others here in McAllen. This is one of our marches after one of our conventions. After every convention that we had a march to show the power of the people here with the changes that we needed to make. And this is one of the, this was in 81. After our UFW convention in 81, those delegates that were there, we would all march. You can see the hundreds of people that we had that were with the union. And here's the law when we got rid of the articles, when we got rid of the short handle hoe. This is when we were able to, the short handle hoe, the short hoe ban victory for United Farm Workers. This is when it was. A lot of babies, a lot of kids in the movement, because this movement is not men. It's the majority, 90% is women, even the leadership, from the executive director, me on down. We do have some men, but they're outnumbered by the leadership of women. Here's some more politicians, state representatives, agriculture commissioner. We used to have an organic farm here on the 10 acres, and so he gave us a grant, and you can see some of the fruits, some of the vegetables that we harvested here. This is me with the agriculture commissioner, and these are the melon and tomatoes, because it was assigned to growers that you didn't have to use pesticides to be able to grow, healthy food. And this is what we did here. Really quick, because I know you're busy. That's a little bit of the history and of the story here at the UFW. But I did want you to see and them too. Si gustan pasar aquí, Olivia, les estaba diciendo de aquí, porque necesito también que miren cómo que fuerte estaba la unión en aquellos años y que necesitamos que volver a eso otra vez. Esta fue una convención que tuvimos. Después de la convención tuvimos esta marcha. Entonces, ahora con más gente y más que está creciendo la unión, tenemos que volver a estos tiempos, ¿verdad? De las juntas y de la fuerza que tenía la unión. Okay, and I always show in my office because it's just beautiful with all the portraits. It's not beautiful in the sense that it's expensive, but beautiful because of of the history also in the portraits that we have here of Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta, who are our heroes. Yeah, that's Dolores. She gave me that many years ago. I think she gave me that in
Dolores is the one that
in the 2000.
Se puede.
Sí, ajá, sí, ajá, ahí está. Y la tenemos ahí. ¿Vale? Pasen. Pasen. And that's when President Obama went to declare a national historic over in, that's where Cesar is buried. And so he declared that historic site. And that's Obama, President Obama that was there doing that. Ese es cuando el presidente fue la Unión está en unas montañas que se llaman the TexMex Mountains allá en California y tienen como 200 acres de propiedad. Ahí mismo tienen la tumba de César y el presidente Obama fue a declarar ese como un sitio histórico para que la gente.
What you do here?
All right, my name is Felix Rivera. I am a social services provider here at LUPE, la Unión Del Pueblo Entero.
When you can start now.
My name is Silda Patiño and I work on the San Juan office and I'm a social service provider.
Thank you very much. What about you? What do you do here? What's your name?
My name is Xochilino Poza. I am a social services provider here at the San Juan office.
Lo que haces aquí?
Sí, mi nombre es Mari Trujillo, trabajo aquí en la Unión como proveedora de servicio social. Hago casos de inmigración, notario público, income tax o cualquier otro tipo de consulta que se necesite dependiendo del cliente.
Tell me your name and what you do here.
Excuse me.
No problem.
My name is Vaughn Cox, and I'm Program Development Director at LUPE. I do a lot of work in immigration and income taxes and grant writing and reporting and all of that.
By Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta in 1989, but LUPE arrived to Texas in 2003. So the UFW turned into La Unión Del Pueblo Entero. We're a 501c3, and we have a unique blend of community organizing and social services. So there are some nonprofits that only offer the social services aspect, and then there's some that do the advocacy or only organizing. And LUPE is a unique blend of that. And we work through membership, community organizing, and we provide benefits of collective bargaining to give voice to the underserved families. Nuestra historia, a little bit of our history. You were able to, it wasn't in the agenda, but you guys got a very big bonus by the director herself.
Oh yeah.
And so, like we said, our membership comes with an ID that helped a lot of the Colonia residents, and a lot of people, a lot of immigrants, when they cross over, they lose their documents in the process of crossing over, or they're detained. They oftentimes lose their documentation also in transition between detention centers or places where they're processed, and so many people are here without an ID. So through a LUPE membership, it offers benefits to them, but that ID is also a big benefit for many. As you'll see later, the mobile clinics that we work in, the only requirement that they have is to show a picture ID, and so many people use our LUPE membership as that form of ID for the health services. Our first consultation is free. We offer also wage theft support. There's an accidental death insurance of $4,000. Many of our members are uninsured and work in risky jobs, and so this, although we don't like to use it, but we are privileged to be able to help families in need whenever there is an accidental death, and the LUPE members, this insurance is quick to give that help to them. So again, the services are immigration, income tax, anyone, regardless of their legal status, is able to file their income taxes, and many people think that immigrants don't file taxes, but they do, and we do that here. We specialize with that here in LUPE. here's a little bit of our work in the colonias, the organizing in the colonias, the issues that we talk about, that we work with are public lighting, drainage, streets, housing, parks, colonia cleanups. During the recent floodings, we don't like to publicize this, but a little bit of good news for LUPE was that the colonias that we organize in did not flood. So we've been working for years on a drainage, low drainage impact project in the colonias, and thankfully there were roads that had flooding, but the flooding didn't go into their homes. And so as soon as some time passed, the waters went away. And here in this picture shows a partnership that we did with an organization of architects, and they planned the low impact drainage in the colonias. Whereas before, a colonia would draw like this. This is actually a picture of one of our colonia residents. And so the recent floodings, thankfully, we had a lot of people affected in West Laco and Mercedes area, in the Mission area where Olivia and San Juan are from. But a little bit of good news was that our colonias can see the impact of the work that they're doing, and they weren't hit with the flooding. We also do the civic engagement, which is your vote is your voice. And then we have the Health on Wheels program, which was started in 2016. This is the baby program of LUPE. So the way that LUPE works is we are not a top-down model. So all of the issues that we work in come from the base of our membership. And so in these house meetings that you heard about, the organizers meet with colonia residents and ask them what their needs are. So they do a needs assessment and what are the most pressing needs that they want to organize for. So every 2 years we have a gathering about the colonias in the valley, and then they choose what topics we're going to tackle for the next legislative time. And so health was an issue that came about more after the ACA was rolled out, and many people, and as you know, Texas did not expand Medicaid, so many people stayed without, we have this large gap here in the valley of people that are uninsured. And so as we saw that the community was this need started getting bigger and growing in the community, we got the great opportunity of partnering with local hospitals and bringing mobile clinics into the colonias, the underserved areas, our offices. And that's when, in 2016, we started in 2015 working with the mobiles, but we were very limited in capacity. So the organizers that were working already in the colonias had to take on this work. And so it became a lot, and that's when we were funded by Methodist Healthcare Ministries, MHM, and that's when the outreach department was built or was created, and that's Health on Wheels program was created, and that's the program that we all work in. So we bring mobile clinics. We have 2 mobiles. One is general medicine. That one offers free screenings, the basic health screenings, preventative screenings, and there's also consultations by a nurse practitioner, and all of these services are free to patients that are uninsured. It does go by an income level, but given the areas that we serve, 99% of our patients are eligible for free services. The vision screenings are through a local hospital named Doctors Hospitals of Renaissance, DHR, and they offer an exclusive discount price for LUPE events. And it's a low-cost vision exam and low-cost glasses. And what we found that these vision clinics have been very successful because We find that the community doesn't always necessarily want free services, but if you make it affordable to them, they will use it. And then part of our program is taking health talks and health promotion into the community. And so we have the Promotoras, the community health educators, and we have leadership training for them. In the colonia, as we get people to participate in health promotion, we build healthcare champions. That's what we call them. And we are part of Unidos contra la Diabetes, which is a collective impact group here in the Valley of different organizations that are working collectively to lower the numbers of diabetes in the area. So meet the outreach team, and Catalina is part of the San Juan office. Catalina Ramirez. We have Kayla here in the room. She organizes in the area of Alton, Texas. Mercedes Benavides is our lead promotora in Mercedes, Texas, and Jesus in San Benito. So we address the serious need for accessible health care, again, to the uninsured. In 2017, last year, our goal was to see 2,000 patients. We surpassed that goal with 2,515 patients. We had a total of 178 clinics, and we retained a scheduling priority from our partners. Through the grants that they received to be able to give this service to the community, they've seen the great impact that is in the community and the numbers that we are able to bring to their clinics thanks to the great team behind it. And so we keep that partnership with them. Priority scheduling. So health promotion. We started with just giving health talks in the community. For 2 years, we would do a health talk. So we did a health needs assessment. We had some students from the local university, UTHSCSA. They helped us go out into the colonias and conduct a survey. We went door to door asking what the healthcare needs were, and what topics the community wanted to learn about. So with that, we were able to have 12 topics, and we tackled one health topic a month. And so in our LUPE has 4 offices. Well, not this year we have 4 offices, but before it was 3. So in all of our offices, we gave a health talk every month, but it was in different places. And that worked because we were able to get good numbers of people. And the people, we were not certified at the moment. We didn't have certified promotoras when we started fresh with this grant. And so for the first 6 months, we had the UTRGV residents give those health talks in the communities. And so it worked. We got good numbers, but we started seeing that we were meeting, we weren't necessarily following up with the people. We weren't seeing them after that one health talk. If we saw someone in February in one location, maybe we didn't see them again till maybe November, or maybe we never saw them again. And so we said, what can we do differently? How can we serve the community a little better? And so this year, thankfully we made that connection with Dr. Jason and Jamie and Dr. Monica. It was in our plans, but it just came together when we met them. And so we started the new community health club model. And so to us, it was a challenge because, like we said, we would organize, we would flyer, we would just worry about getting people to that one health talk per month. And so this model, we needed to recruit residents and have them there for a 7-week period. And we knew it was going to be a challenge starting. The outreach workers were not, the organizing department is used to having those colonia meetings, but we never had weekly meetings, right? And so we have a great team, and we started at a health club in each office region. And so we were able to keep an average of 8 to 10 people every class, and we were able to graduate 34 students from the first cohort. So this, we started with the topic of Zika, and of course Jamie gave us the training, and the doctors, but through the Zika training, it was a 7-week training for Zika. When we first heard of it, we said, how much information are we gonna give for 7 weeks? Because the year before we gave Zika presentations and we condensed it enough to like 20 minutes, right? And we gave the full information, and so we said, how are we gonna do this, right? But thankfully it was a great model. It was separated in a perfect way, and we also brought in other things to keep participants engaged. So Kayla, for example, in Alton had a group that she was teaching Zika, and but then she started a health and fitness challenge with her group. And what we like about this model is that all the decisions are made by the club. We don't go in there and say, this is what you have to do. We give the information and we say, this is our goal, but how do you want to do it? When do you want to meet? What hours do you want to meet? And so that gives a lot of empowerment to the group. And that's what here at LUPE we do on a daily basis, and that is part of our goal. So then they started doing Zumba in their classes, and more people started getting engaged, and you'll hear more from Kayla, and you can ask her about the details. We had Catalina here in Edinburgh also had Zumba classes, and what was really great was that participants of the clubs were actually leading those Zumba classes, because we did a little asset mapping. Yes, thank you. And so we found out that we have people that are skilled and that they have, and we want to use their skills, and so we had Zumba instructors, thankfully, in those groups, and they were the ones that were able to give that. In our Mercedes group, it was a little different. Several of the ladies from the group were from a church, and so they said, well, we want to, we'll go a little slow on the Zumba, but we want to know how to make crafts. So they started doing that, and so after their Zika instruction, they would work on learn crafts that they can now use as skills and also sell, and it helps them financially in their homes. And so here you could see some of the activities, the Zumba, the flowers that the ladies were able to make. We have Jamie there, down there. And then the exercise that was happening in Kayla's group. And here are a few pictures of our health clinics. So LUPE does not give direct medical services. We rely on the clinics to do that, but what we do is we do the intake process for the clinics, and when people come out and they have a little paper with the results of their screenings, and maybe they don't know what their glucose number means, or they don't know what their blood pressure is supposed to be at, and that's where they come in, and we give them an explanation of what their numbers mean through our Know Your Numbers campaign. As LUPE, we give Know Your Rights clinics and information sessions, and we said, maybe it would be a great idea to do Know Your Numbers for the health aspect. So it's proven to be really helpful as well. And then there's also the participation of advocacy, where the outreach group, the Promotora group also work. There was a trip that we took to Austin when there was a vote for healthcare, and so there are promotoras, but they're also community leaders, and they engage in the different topics that LUPE advocates for. And our program relies on our promotoras, but also volunteers from different universities that come and volunteer here, and Colonia residents. I think that's it. So we can, Does anyone have any question? I know I went really quick. I want to give enough time for the specific questions.
For those of us here that had worked in the fields, like myself, we didn't have the toilets in the fields, and you can relate that very closely, right, to situations with your health. We also were using the short handle hoe, which is like that little hoe that worker is doing there. We also use that short handle hoe many years, but we outlawed that also here. That also was causing injury to the back of the farm workers. So a lot of the policies that you will see and the changes we made, we also changed that we needed to have water, clean drinking water. We needed to have toilets. All of those were not allowed for farm workers. We had to file a lawsuit of discrimination against Mexican farm workers by the state of Texas. In order to be able to change that, it was like with good attorneys, civil rights attorneys, to file the lawsuits under the Equal Rights Amendment, with really strong organizing and a very strong political base, get out the vote. It took all of that and years to be able to change those laws. And they're again, so you can know when you see the articles that were put out on the wall that I'll show you, you can relate to which are the ones that were so interconnected with the health of farm workers. And of course, the whole issue of pesticides, right? I mean, that's a given as to how that can really harm a person's health. And back then, it was literally spraying on our backs when we were bent over for that whole working, especially in West Texas. And so all of those we got rid of here, and as part of the United Farm Workers. Although in California, they got rid of that through collective bargaining with the employer and the worker. Here in Texas, we don't have that. We don't have union contracts. Therefore, we have to figure this other way through lawsuits, organizing, and political power, right, that we have to do. But we can walk through here and I can show you. It's a lot. You're going to enjoy it because we have air conditioning. And Abraham can explain all this here. Pase. Come on in.
The farm worker experience, we put in a little joke, but really it shows the struggle of the movement and everyone that came before us, and we try to keep that history alive and those stories. So with that, I'll have Abraham go over the murals, and then we can head over to the museum.
So we're going to check out this mural. So you have to come this way. So, check out the whole thing, from one side to the other. Just look at it. So this one was made in 1974 by Geriatric. One of the oldest murals that LUPE has. And this side of the mural, this is a non-point mural here to the other wall. And it talks about the beginning of life. So the beginning of life is this. Everyone, no matter the color of your skin, no matter your race, is born the exact same way, should be equal. Here, this is where people are being born from nature. Now, the grapevines. Anybody know what the grapevines might mean? The pesticides in California. Anything else about the grapes? Can you put me?
Oh yeah, that was a big. I'm a private in California, so that was a very big part of the movement that was able to get into communities outside of the farmer communities where even grocery stores sold grapes. Those of us as supporters of the movement were not fine.
Yes. So the grapes were one of the biggest fights. And it started in a little town. Picture it like the little town of San Juan, and eventually grew up to a nationwide boycott. This boycott was the one that gave them the most power, collective power, because the people, the farmers didn't want to negotiate with the farm workers. They, you know what, let's hit them where it hurts, and it's in the pockets. They not only sell grapes, they make wine, and so on. So that's where also, the reason why there's grapes and nature in this mural is because this is a very not conservative politically, but conservative region. So they had private parts showing, and people felt uncomfortable. So they had to cover them up, and one of the best ways to cover them up was with the grapes. So after they're born, we go on to the next part of the mural. This part. This is the reality of the farm workers. This is what it looks like. Picture yourself right now at 20, 25 years old, and you have to work in the fields. Maybe your mother, your father, when you were just a year old or less, they had to take you. There was no way for me to say, well, you know, I'm just going to stay home and take care of my baby because my baby needs me. No, we really do need the money, and I have to go to work. There's no daycare services. The daycare service for them was, let's put it on my back or put it on me and keep on working. So families often were together when the child was old enough to carry the short-handed hoe. That's when they would start working. The reason is because they needed that money. Imagine getting paid $1 an hour when the minimum wage was $1.25, and the hard work you would do. So $8 a day, being in the sun for $8, you know, bending your back over, and so on. So as you can see in their faces, what can you see in their faces? Exhaustion. Sadness, worriment,
Anguish.
So you can see everything in this mural. And this is what it looked like to have the short-handed hoe. That's what it looked like if you bend over and you had to be like this every single time for 8 hours straight. It was backbreaking. Another part of the realities of the farm workers was that if you're bending over, you say, you know what, let me take a 5-second break to stretch my back, you know, it's a little hurting. Then the farmer would say, get down. If you're not bending over, you're not working. Even if you were just stretching, even if you were, you know, just stretching your bones or saying, you know, my back hurts or anything. And they would punish them. They would punish them in various ways. This is one of the ways they would punish them. Also, we know that the white man in America has been the one that's been exploiting other races. So this is one of the ways that it's also portrayed here. And also, we can see at the bottom, the short-handed hoe is still present in this mural. So we've tried to take care as much as possible. 74, so it's been quite a while. This is what the reality looked like. You can't see their face. And then we move on to the next one. Eventually, the United Farm Workers was created. People said, you know what, we gotta put a stop to this. We can't just let this keep on happening over and over. We can't let them just run over us like we don't matter. So they all got together. One of the good things is that it wasn't only Mexicans, Mexican Americans, it was also Filipino Americans, Native Americans that got together in the fields to be able to fight back. We know that if I say, you know what, I'm gonna fight back against my oppressor, it might not work. But if I say, hey, all of you need try to join me in this fight back, then it creates more of a collective power. And this is what they decided to do here. So here you're able to see that, you know, their faces are changing from sadness, depression, anguish, to a little bit more angry to say, you know what, you can see it in their hands, you can see it in their emotions, you can see it in their face. And this is where the farm workers came in, they got together. The last part of the mural. You can see the eagle on the back. The eagle, the black eagle I mentioned, it means the struggle, it's black, it's like boring. But it's always looking left, which means it's always looking forward. It's looking forward into the future. And one of the things of this mural is that it has a subliminal message. So here you're able to see them breaking those barriers, right? they're able to break that chain of oppression that they've been fighting for through the collective power. But one of the things is that there's a person that's growing up throughout the mural, and that's this person. And you'll be able to see him since the very beginning on the left-hand side. So if you can go back to the first, on this wall, I'll go to the first part of the mural. You'll be able to see someone that's growing up. So there's someone that's a baby. And then eventually, as time's moving on, the baby sees when their families is getting together, organizing, and it's looking forward to that. It's looking up to them. You see the difference in their faces. You see the baby looking forward with hope, a face of hope, looking up to the parents, the adults, being angry, saying we can't give up. And then at the very end, it's the same haircut, they haven't changed haircuts, and it's the same color of skin. But he's the one. Sometimes we won't see the change in our generation. We won't see the change from here to tomorrow, from here to next week, from here to a month. But we know that the change will happen. And it's something that we always let our members know. Sometimes, we're in the struggle for a long time. Sometimes the struggle lasts one day, 1 week. But we'll make sure that the struggle will have a victory on the long term. So this is this side of the mural. Now we're going to go on to the next one. Unidos en la Casa. I'm going to give you a little bit of time just to check it out. What are they? Organize, educate, participate. Yes. Organize, educate, participate. So this mural is Unidos en la Causa, United in the Cause. You'll be able to see all three pillars here in this one. So, organize. How do you organize? One of our first ways to organize is through house meetings. It's very important for us to go to a place where they feel comfortable instead of them taking them out of their comfort place. So here the house meetings are very, very important because the change doesn't happen here. It doesn't happen, in an office. It happens where the problem is. That's where you first discuss. That's one of the first steps of organizing. You talk to the people. They're the experts on the issues. Whether it's an issue of drainage, an issue of immigration, an issue of public lighting, of flooding, depending on the issue they're the ones that are the experts. And if you don't believe it, go to your own neighborhood and ask them, what are some issues in your neighborhood? And they'll tell you exactly what they are. So this is the first way, organizing through house meetings, where people who are members, remember we have over 8,000 members, they want to make a change in their community. So this is where it starts, where we start organizing. After this, we organize here at LUPE. We bring people together, whether it's in our general meeting every first Friday of the month, where we tell them, well, these are some issues, these are some updates, this is how you can find a solution to this or to that. That's another way to organize. The second one was educate. Yes, educate. This is another, the same way. You educate people. People want to know what they don't know. Whether it's they let you know this is the issue we have in our colonia. This is a way we can possibly solve it, and you work together with them to educate both sides. Educate yourself, educate them on the issue, how you can solve it. On the very top right, you'll be able to see the fields. The fields is the background of what LUPE is today. It was founded by the United Farm Workers, and it's always present, whether it's in our mural or it's in our history. The eagle in the middle, the black mentioned it, the white means hope. And then participate. Participating is so broad. Sometimes you can participate one way while another person can't participate. Here in this way, in this mural, you'll be able to see different ways to participate. Participate by bringing a house meeting to your neighborhood to solve some issues. Participating by one of the most important ways that we preach, by going out to vote. The Rio Grande Valley, unfortunately, has one of the lowest voter turnouts, but we're trying to change that. We're always pushing forward the vote. We're always trying to encourage more people to go out to vote. Another way to participate, showing up to rallies, whether it's a rally for Black Lives Matter, for immigration, for farm workers, for LGBTQ, for whatever it is, show up. And sometimes, I have a 9-to-5 job. I can't show up to every rally. I'm tired on the weekends. I have plans on the weekends. I go out on vacation on the weekends. I can't participate this way. Well, there's other ways you can participate. Another one is talking to your elected officials. They're here to serve you. They're here to serve you and their community. And we make sure that we hold them accountable for everything there is to hold them accountable for. So we take our leaders, we prep our leaders, we educate our leaders on the issues and how to talk to these elected officials that represent them. So that's another way to participate. You can call them, you can send a letter, you can text them, you can email them, you can visit them. And also, you can also run for office. I see that there's some people of color here. If you're a minority, make sure you also get encouraged to run for office because we need more people of color that represents people of color. So that's another way to participate. And this is Unidos en la Causa. It pretty much gives a run through of the movement, the way we organize our three pillars. Dolores Huerta and Cesar Chavez. So we have two founders from the United Farm Workers Movement, also from LUPE. That's both of them. In the middle, you'll be able to see the fields. The fields of, it's our history. Oh, watch out, there's a lot of ants. And then at the very bottom, you'll be able to see one of the ways people participate is through our marches. And like I said, we try to make it as inclusive as possible, whether it's people who are elderly, people who are young, children, adults, women, men, people who have disabilities. This was done in 2007. If you flip this over, it should be the eagle. And then on the sides, these are people who have been working alongside the struggle for many years. One of them, the very top right, that's Juanita. You just spoke to her a little bit ago. Some of our social services are in here. Maria Gomez, her. She was inside. She was one of UFW's and LUPE's community organizer for a very long time.
Jim Harrington.
Jim Harrington.
The lawyer that helped us.
Jim Harrington.
Down there. Can you point to the bottom?
Jim Harrington, one of the civil rights attorneys that LUPE and the UFW had. He's the one that got many victories. I think he now works for a TCRP. Or he's retired.
He's retired now.
He's retired now.
But yeah, he was really.
Some of our social services staff have been with LUPE and the United Farm Workers for a very long time. They're also pictured here in the mural. A lot of them are community leaders, community members that have been working very hard. Very top right. Sulema, you'll be able to see her very young in the pictures inside, in the history pictures. She's been organizing and in the movement for many years.
Right here we have one of our social service providers. She's been here over 20 years. Mari Trujillo, we passed through her office and maybe some of you can talk to her. We also have Maricela right here. She's our office manager and she was also an organizer with the UFW.
The top says, no podemos buscar el éxito solo para nosotros y olvidarnos del progreso y prosperidad de nuestra comunidad. We can not only find success only for ourselves and forget about the progress and prosperity of our community. Nuestras ambiciones tienen que ser tan grandes para incluir las aspiraciones y necesidades de otros. Our ambitions have to be as big as possible so that they can include the aspirations and necessities of others. Por el bien de ellos y de nosotros. For the good of us and them. This is a quote from Cesar Chavez. So this is our third mural, and hand it off to.
Well, thank you, Abraham. I invited, like I said, Abraham is our newest youth organizer, and he'll be working with the Get Out the Vote campaigns that we talked about, and with the education and presentations in the high schools, so that the kids can know that they have a college education that they can have. No matter, regardless of their legal status, we work with the youth so that they can know that there's opportunities out there for them. And so Abraham does a great job of giving the LUPE tour, and that's why I invited him today. So we can head back into our meeting room. I'll give a quick presentation of the HELP program, which is the Health on Wheels program that we have here at LUPE. It's not in our murals yet, as you can see, but one day it will.